Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are exploring the impact of AI in the world of education, our sacred world of education. And I am joined by a very wonderful superintendent, one of the best in the country out of California. And he is going to share his background and his district, some information about his district. And then we're going to get into our AI conversation. So I turn it over to my good friend, Jerry.
Hello. Thank you so much, Dr. Ray, for the wonderful introduction. My name is Jerry Almendarez, Superintendent, Santa Ana Unified School District. I have been in education for over 3 decades, the last 15 as a superintendent in a previous district is in the Inland Empire. And now I'm currently serving Santa Ana Unified for the past 5 years. And Santa Ana Unified is a high Latino population with over 70% second language student and high socioeconomically disadvantaged community where we have our challenges. During COVID, we were one of those districts that were shut down for 2 consecutive years, and a blue collar community, service workers, first responders. So it's just been a pleasure and an honor to be serving the community that I'm in right now.
And I got to visit his school district recently, and it is bustling with innovation. They have got so much wonderful work going on in that district and all aspects in career world, in ELA, in math, in everything. You are just doing really profound work in that. They're so blessed to have you,
Oh,
Jerry.
thank
Really
you.
are. You and I talked, we were on a webinar. It doesn't feel like that long ago, but it was probably almost a year ago that we were on that webinar
Correct.
when we were talking about policies around AI. And you were already on the way to getting a policy in place in your district. Can you talk a little bit about the process that you took to
Sure.
create that policy or that process?
Yeah, we started like a lot of people just discovering the platform. At that time, it was OpenAI's ChatGPT and really began to be curious about the platform. And once we engaged it, we started to see the value of it. It was still new and really didn't want to unilaterally push it on anybody, but we had conversations internally with executive cabinet and our directors and asked if anybody was interested in learning more. We would open up the platforms and give them opportunity to engage and to see how it could help the work that they're currently doing. After a few weeks, we got a lot of momentum, a lot of curiosity, a lot of excitement from our staff developers. They asked to bring it to our teaching staff, and again, not unilaterally implementing, but just asking for volunteers and people that were curious and open up the platforms for them and to start to explore how it could be used in the classroom. Long story short is after a few months after that last process, our staff developers came back and said, Mr. Almendarez, we have a lot of people using it. There's a lot of momentum out there right now. It's probably time to put the guardrails in place. And as a result of that, we formed a district-wide AI Superintendents Advisory Committee. And that committee spent about 4 months with some of our local thought partners who are experts in the AI environment, having conversations about what our hopes were, what our fears were, what platforms were teachers using, what platforms they liked best, and how they were using them. And then ultimately looked at other AI guidances from all over the country. And with help from our legal counsel and our thought partners, we were able to put a document together that now serves as our guardrails in Santa Ana Unified. And it's the Santa Ana Unified Artificial Intelligence Compass that we have. And it was adopted by our Board of Education in April of last school year. And we were very proud of our board to take that step, in essence, giving our community, our district employees the green light to continue pursuing this innovation in this technology.
And that's where I love it that you called it a compass because it does provide direction on how and when it's appropriate to use it. So I love that term applied to that. Can you share, in case other leaders, superintendents are listening, what kind of participants were on the committee? Did you
So
have parents?
We didn't have a parent. Some of our teachers are parents, so in that respect, yes. But what we did is we pulled together after the months of engaging in the platforms, reached out to our teams and said, okay, who needs to be a part of this? Who's using the platforms? Who are good individuals that would make a valuable contribution to this conversation? So really, it was word of mouth from our staff developers, our teacher trainers, our principals, identifying individuals throughout the district. But it was individuals from all levels: classroom teachers, classified employees, site administrators, district administrators, and then some of our teacher on assignments. And we didn't always seek out those like minded individuals. We wanted people that would challenge and push back on us. So we didn't miss anything. We closed the gaps and identify our blind spots to the best of our ability. And so it was about 60 individuals across the district that came together on a regular basis for 4 months having this conversation.
That's incredible. And now that it's been implemented, have they reflected on the implementation to just think about what needs to be tweaked or
So part of the compass requires a 4 month revisit, a check in, because the innovation is accelerating at such a rapid pace. Some of the team members were fearful that if there was no ending date or revisiting the guidance, then we could potentially miss something. In addition to that 4 month check in, we'd have subcommittees, implementation committees that are working independent of the larger group, focusing on the particular areas of the guidance, things like vetting the AI platforms that teachers are seeking to use. The exploration is not a teacher identifying an AI platform and then experimenting with it in the classroom. They have to share that platform that they want to use to this subcommittee. The subcommittee goes through a process to vet the platforms to make sure they're FERP aligned and who's using them and what age limitations they have. And so they get vetted through this process. And we open up those platforms through our IT department for those individual teachers that are seeking a pilot. If it becomes a popular platform, then we potentially could open it up to more schools to pilot and possibly purchase it for the entire district to use as well. So those are some of the guardrails that are in place.
excellent. And it allows them to go a little bit further, but dip their toe in it first, which is great.
I was going to say there are other subcommittees like staff development
Yeah.
subcommittees that work on the digital citizenship of our students, but also supporting our teachers as well. And then other policy committee who looks at any changes or new laws that are coming in or new devices that are being generated or created that potentially could be brought in to the classroom. Things like the new smart glasses that you see so
Yeah.
right now.
I do love those.
And this was an example of why we have to check in every 4 months.
You mentioned digital citizenship, and this is a topic that's near and dear to each of us. But what do you think is going to need to be attended to in digital citizenship curriculum, as it were, to address the ethics behind AI? I don't know that we have that baked into a typical digital citizenship curriculum,
Yeah,
but I know it's something that's on the horizon. It's here
yeah,
already, but yeah.
yeah. I think the loudest noise I'm hearing is regarding the misinformation. When the platforms first started to emerge and we started to give people permission to use them, the first concern was it's going to be used to cheat. That argument has subsided now that people know how to engage a platform better and how to create opportunities that aren't so much um, asking the kids to create a letter as opposed to really engaging in thought provoking conversations to actually maybe critique it or engage those higher thinking skills. The loud noise is happening right now about the fakes, the deep fakes, and what's accurate information and not so accurate information. And I think that's probably where we're going to be focusing on, given how loud that concern is right now in our district. And there is some concern. We have a lot of teachers using it, and they're generating some examples of what it could be. And so I think for us, it's learning that it exists and learning how to determine and seek out ways to verify the information that you're actually getting. And when I think of digital citizenship, that is something that will most likely be heavily embedded into our trainings.
Yeah. And for kids, just to know, like I was talking to, they were college professors, but they were concerned about using AI in their classes. And I said, whether you allow it or not, it's going to be used.
Exactly.
So you might as well develop your assignments in such a way that it doesn't matter whether they're using it or not. You're
Exactly.
still engaging the higher order of thinking that you need to see evidence of in your
Yes.
assignment.
Yeah.
And I don't think that had occurred to some of them.
And that's really the conversations that we had early on when we began to engage these platforms. And like you said, we were, and this was a group conversations, is we know this technology is not going away. So how can we learn it and use it to our advantage so we can create experiences and opportunities that can't be cheated or you can't use it as a cheat tool. And our teachers came up with some pretty innovative and pretty creative ways of doing that. And we just need to push out those examples more so other teachers can see, oh, okay, it is okay to use. If you think about it, we use AI almost on a daily basis. People were saying, well, we need to keep it private. Our privacy needs to be protected. If you have an iPhone or any phone and you haven't turned off notifications or locations, you're being tracked.
Or your microphone. Yeah.
You go to the airport, there's cameras there. They take a picture of your eyes or your finger. So it exists on Amazon. You purchase on Amazon, it identifies your habits. So it's just really the lens that we embrace this new innovation on. My whole thought is that it's new. People are still learning it. I'd much rather be in on the front end learning this technology so I can use it for good.
Teach them how to protect their data and how to protect their information in a way that I did have to go by LifeLock because so much of my information is out there
Yeah.
because I publicly speak and probably you too. And so I was like, how can I make sure? Then I ended up getting hacked
Oh, wow.
because everything's out there. Oh yeah, it cost one of my friends $1,000. I felt so bad, but didn't have to. But she thought I was in a terrible position and she put the money up and
Uh,
it was a hacker and somebody that just assumed my identity because so much of my identity is out there.
yeah.
They could just deep fake her. And that's the problem with that's like the malice in AI. And to help teachers and students know like the good, the bad, and the ugly and navigate that seaway. But I do think that we're all going to have to get smarter about protecting our own data and not depending on it just being protected. It's going
Right.
to have to be an individual thing that we do. And that is in great part because of the tremendous access that systems, technology has to our stuff through microphones, cameras that are
Mhm.
just out there publicly everywhere.
Yeah.
If you had words of wisdom to share with anyone listening to this that you haven't already shared, what would those words of wisdom be for either getting ready or if they're already on the trajectory, what kinds of words of wisdom might you have?
Well, I think my biggest reflection over the past 5 years is that, what we've been doing for the past 3 decades, there hasn't been significant growth in academic performance, not only in Santa Ana, but across the country, across the globe. And that equity gap hasn't closed much. And so, what that tells me, based on all of the hard work everybody's been doing, is that what we've been doing hasn't been working. And given this new state of innovation that we're in, and given how new it is for everybody, it feels society has hit the reset button and is a window of opportunity for all of us to really learn and engage in these platforms to figure out how we can reimagine teaching, learning, and leading in this new environment because we're going to have to do something different. If we're leading the same way we've always led, we can expect the same results we've always gotten.
And what was who was it that says that's the definition of insanity? I can't remember, but doing the same thing and expecting different results. Mm, that's insanity. And that's what we've been in for the last several years. And we're losing a lot of kids along the way. It's creating such a detrimental impact to so many
Yeah.
families.
The question is like, where are they going? Because
Yeah.
enrollment is declining global nationally. Where are the kids going and what's meeting their needs?
No.
If we keep doing what we're doing, we're going to keep getting what we've always gotten. We need to do something different, dramatically different.
Yeah. And use technology in a way, I think for so many years, if you think about across the, let's just say across fields, right? Look at banking and how banking has transformed from just 10 years ago to today because they embrace technologies. Think about construction and how construction has changed in the past 10 years because they embrace technology.
Okay.
And I think in education, we talk a good game, but our embrace of it is like tentative. It's like that hug that you get where you're not really giving a hug.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
where we are. If we could really dive in, we
it,
could be so much further.
yeah. And during COVID, all I heard was, we need to get back to normal. We need to get back to normal. What was our definition of normal? And
Right.
was it working? And I think we have to force ourselves to, we're serving a generation that is way younger than us, has been exposed to way more than we have ever been exposed to
Yeah.
in our entire lifetime. But yet we're making decisions that are comfortable for us and that
Yeah.
we're used to making, right? We can't make those decisions the way we used to. And we have to be mindful of the generations that we serve, the experiences that they're getting when it comes to these devices and this instant uh, gratification when it comes to information. And we have to adapt our leadership styles, our generational upbringing to meet the needs of the communities and the generations that we serve.
Yeah. AI can make such a difference in personalization of education if we could embrace it and figure out how to use it to our advantage.
Yeah.
It's been around since the 50s.
Yeah.
It's not a new concept.
That crazy. Yeah.
Not a new concept.
yeah.
So I think, yeah, just opening up our minds, being a lot more willing to walk with the technology and the geniuses that are inventing this technology and moving education forward as quickly. If we could move education forward as quickly as some of these technologies move, could you only imagine where we
And
could be?
that's my fear, that we're in a different era of technological advancement. There's going to be an accelerated pace of this
Yeah.
innovation happening, unlike society has ever experienced before,
Mm.
because of where we're at with this innovation. You look at the automobile, it took a good 100 years before it became mainstreamed and the normal person could purchase an automobile. That's not going to happen with
Mm.
AI, this innovation that we're facing us. And so it is our responsibility to learn it as quickly as we can and then pivot in public education, or else we're going to
Yeah.
be relevant. Why would people want to come to us if we're doing what we've done for the past 20 years that hasn't been
Yeah.
working?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We could talk forever,
We
but
could.
our time is up. I will say though that Jerry and I are both on a new board together. And the board is called, you want to share the name?
Yeah, human intelligence.
The Human Intelligence Movement. And so if you haven't heard of that, you might want to go check it out. It's a nonprofit movement that really is focused on the balance between human intelligence, artificial intelligence, and the role each play in education. So follow us, check it out. We're really excited to be on that board. But thanks everybody for listening. And thank you, Jerry, for being part of this conversation. It's always such a joy to spend time with you and
Thank
chatting
you.
about education.
Thank you for having me. And like you said, it's always a pleasure to be in the same space as you, Dr.
Thank you, Jerry.